The Social Security Expansion Act is resurfacing, meaning those $200 per month checks may be inching closer to reality, as we're here in Congress debating the latest of what needs to be done with Social Security.
Roughly 1 in 7 seniors rely on Social Security for more than 90% of their income. And the number of Americans who are at risk of not being able to maintain their standard of living in old age or retirement age has increased over the past 30 years.
I'll play the full video clip of what Senator Padilla has to say. As you can see here in this article, Social Security Expansion Act resurfaces, and Senator Alex Padilla from California, who you just heard spoke, he is one of the original people who introduced the Social Security Expansion Act. He has a lot more to say in regards to what needs to happen to Social Security and how it affects your Social Security check, and in turn increasing Social Security checks to everybody across the board with those $200 per month increases to benefits. So I'll give you more details on that, play the video clip, and give you some other important updates as well. So if you're on Social Security, SSI, SSDI, any type of check from Social Security, you're going to want to pay attention to this entire video. Stay tuned. Before I dive into the main content, if you appreciate these regular Social Security updates, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more of the latest Social Security updates regarding increases, decreases, what Congress is saying. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and this video is sponsored by my company Wise Cent. We help people with poor credit fix their credit so they could get better rates on things for cars, houses, or anything else, which could save thousands of dollars over a lifetime. If you're interested in that, want to get on a free phone call with me, hit the like button or hit the link down in the description below and you can schedule a call with me. We'll go over that. All right, so Social Security Expansion Act resurfaces. If you weren't aware, this is the bill that has the $200 per month increase, also known as the Bernie Sanders Social Security bill. What is the latest with that? Well, we see a few different senators talking about it. As you can see here, I'm highlighting multiple senators. One of them more specifically is Senator Alex Padilla from California, and he has a lot to say. So Senator Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren pretty much are the ones who get most of the credit for this bill, but as I mentioned, Senator Alex Padilla. If you weren't familiar, basically this bill was introduced into legislation that they say will expand Social Security benefits by $2,400 a year or $200 per month and ensure Social Security is fully funded for the next 75 years, all without raising taxes by 1 penny on over 93% of American households that make $250,000 or less. There's a lot more to the bill that could help out Social Security recipients. I'm not going to get into it now. I want to share with you what Senator Alex Padilla has to say about Social Security, protecting it, reforming it, and expanding it. You're not going to want to miss this. Take a look at what Senator Padilla has to say.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Couple questions.
Followed by Senator
First
Braun. Sorry to interrupt, just to let Mike know that he's next.
Okay. The first is sort of an extension of a topic that Senator Murray was talking about earlier in terms of equity of the Social Security system. My understanding is that even with Social Security, there are more than 5 million seniors in the United States currently living in poverty. Roughly 1 in 7 seniors rely on Social Security for more than 90% of their income. And the number of Americans who are at risk of not being able to maintain their standard of living in old age or retirement age has increased over the past 30 years. And this is particularly true for lower income and marginalized communities that have had fewer opportunities to save, earn pensions, etc., especially among Black and Latino elder adults. Question is for Ms. Romig. How does rising income and wealth inequality affect Social Security financing and benefits, and what recommendations would you have to make the system more equitable?
That's a terrific question. Certainly on the financing side, as we've been talking about, this rising inequality of the last 40 years since the last time Congress addressed Social Security was not anticipated. And so we are getting fewer payroll taxes from high-income earners than we would have if the payroll tax cap was set at the same level that it had been 40 years ago. And so we've lost a lot of revenue for the system during that period of the last 40 years. And that's certainly not equitable. And as Amy discussed, also this rise of people getting income from other sources that are not taxed by Social Security, investment income and pass-through income and things like that, that the highest income people are contributing a much smaller share of their total incomes to Social Security than regular folks who get their income from paychecks. And so those are really important factors that we need to think about now that we are aware of these trends to make sure that Social Security is equitably financed. And the same is true on the benefit side. The increase in longevity over the past 40 years since we last addressed Social Security has meant that wealthier people are living significantly longer. That's not true for the bottom half. And in fact, the reverse is true for some marginalized groups. We hear about these deaths of despair, especially in marginalized communities where life expectancy is actually shorter than for their parents or grandparents. So that means they're getting benefits for a shorter amount of time, whereas wealthier folks are getting benefits for more years. And so we need to address that as well.
Yeah, that's a troubling dynamic. But on the first half of your answer, fair to take away that tax breaks for the most wealthy and large corporations are not good for Social Security?
That's right.
Thank you. Second area is the following. Now, since 2010, the number of Social Security beneficiaries has increased by 21%. And this is sort of the precursor to your longevity dynamic that you just described. Our nation's age dependency ratio is now projected to reach 44% by 2040. Absent congressional action, an aging population and a shrinking workforce will continue to threaten Social Security financing. That's a dynamic that I think most of us are very well aware of and are concerned about. Now, while not a solution in isolation, right, this is not a magic wand, but we know, history tells us that higher levels of immigration can improve the long-term financial health of the system. Immigrants, on average, are younger than the native-born population and have higher labor force participation rates. And just to top that, by the way, the studies by the Cato Institute from 2013 and 2018 also found that Social Security eligible immigrants use benefits at lower rates. So there's a group of folks that's paying into the system disproportionately than what they're taking out of it. Questions for Mr. Swagel and Mr. Goss. We already know that immigration benefits the economy overall. But can you speak specifically to how updating our immigration system could support the long-term solvency of the social security system?
Maybe I'll say a quick word and Steve can finish. No, it's absolutely right that more immigration would reverse aging and would reverse the shrinking of the workforce that you talked about. That would have a near-term impact in improving the finances of Social Security. There'd be long-term benefits as well, long-term impacts as well. There'd be higher productivity growth from immigrants, and immigrants start companies, they hire workers, that means more payrolls and more revenues into the system. And we would analyze both those, the near-term and the long-term impacts.
So from a purely demographic point of view, our issue, as we've mentioned, has been the changing age distribution because of the drop on the birth rates after 1965. Now, birth rates are when people enter our population at age 0. Immigrants enter our population generally between 20 and 35. So that if we have an increase in immigration, if our policy were to change, that would bring more people into our population precisely at the ages at which people begin to really enter the workforce and work. So it could potentially change our distribution of the 20 to 64 age group, working age, versus the 65 and over, and have a very positive effect. There's no question about that. And in addition, immigrants tend, by and large, at least in the early years in the country, to have higher birth rates even than the general population. So it's really a plus all the way around.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just in closing, one underscore, at a time where we're seeing persistent record low unemployment levels. We're not talking about immigrants coming here to take jobs from anybody else. We need the workforce, and I've heard that from leaders in every industry across the board. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Talk to a hospital or a nursing home.
What are your thoughts on what Senator Padilla has to say about Social Security? Agree, disagree? Does more need to be done from Congress? Let me know down in the comments below, and that is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully cheer you up a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, this is Bella. This is the tip of the day. Do you like my stress ball? You squeeze it and then you feel better. So I'm gonna tell you one thing you should do. Do the things that you want to do because you only have one life.
Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate your support. If you want more Social Security updates, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also, if you want to see the latest in terms of increases to Social Security, what's being spoken about by President Biden, Congress, you're not going to want to miss this video right up here. So click that video and I'll see you in that video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.